He spent more time in his room. I didn't notice that sign. I missed it. I thought I checked in on him. I did every day. How you doing? I'm fine. Okay, I guess you're fine. I didn't realize that fine meant I'm not fine. But how many times do we talk to our teens and say, yeah, I'm fine? They chose I'm fine for a reason.
It's hard sometimes, it's hard to know what the balance is. With my kids sometimes, I make a smaller deal out of things that my wife makes a big deal about, right?
Is there like a rule of thumb or draw the line?
Well, I can't draw the line for you, right? I wish I could because I'm not a psychologist, I'm not an expert. I'm a guy who lost his kid, who spent the last year and a half trying to figure out why. Those of us with teenagers and those of us who've seen teenagers a lot, how do you talk to them? Well, I can tell you what they want and what they don't want. What they don't want is you to burst into their room when they're watching some video on YouTube and say, we need to talk. That's the wrong time to talk to them. That's when they say, I'm fine, leave me alone. But they all...
What they really wanted was for you to leave them the fuck alone and leave them in the void where they would never have problems. That's what they wanted. They wanted you to nut in your wife's mouth, on her back, in her hair, on her face, and any other place but in her fucking vagina where you would bring them into existence. That's what they really wanted. But I digress. Let's continue.
All have that time when they'll talk to you. Maybe it's driving in the car when you take them to school, when they're walking the dog. I can tell you, though, it's also inconvenient. Because I know all the times that Ryan came up to my office because I work from home and said, hey, Dad, can we talk? And I said, dude, on a call, 30 minutes, I'll be right there. How many of you have done that? I don't know which one of those times, if any of those times, was the time Ryan wanted to come up and tell me how he was really feeling. It was my wife's birthday, so her and I headed down to Mexico on the 20th of March. We got to Mexico, and I'll always remember this because the night of the 21st, we were having dinner. And our phones went off at the exact same time. It was 11:03, and we had a text. But it was Ryan, basically saying, I love you, and then he said goodbye. I freaked out. My wife's screaming. I got on the phone, I called my mother-in-law who was looking after the kids. I'm like, find Ryan. I'm yelling at her, and Kim's yelling at Kyle, and she's running around the house, and she finds him. He took his own life. I've never felt more helpless in my entire life. All I wanted to do was be there and save him. And I couldn't.
What would you tell people who...
Yeah, but you literally were not there. You were literally in Mexico with your wife, living your best fucking life. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you have kids at home that probably would have enjoyed the vacation too. So, like, why did you even have them? For what? Y'all was out there in Mexico just living it up. Completely oblivious to what your child was going through. When your child didn't even need to exist in the first place. But I digress. Let's keep going.
would tell you it's not your fault.
It is your fault.
I'm responsible. There's things that if I had it done differently, Ryan would still be here.
Like, yeah, like not get your wife pregnant.
Of all you guys saying, please learn from what I didn't do right. And I wanted to see if there's like something I could find, a letter or a notebook or something. And I start going through drawers. And I open it up, and it's empty. Except for 2 sticky notes. I pulled out, one said, my usernames and passwords. And the other one said, tell my story. Tell what happened from your eyes so that parents are looking at their kids differently. And I traveled around.
Now this narcissistic asshole is using the pain of his son, the death of his son, the grotesque death of his son to stroke his ego. Because that's what was the point anyways of breeding, was to stroke his ego. And now he's using his son's death to again stroke his own ego. Traveling around the world. What the hell is he saying anyways? Nothing of importance. Nothing of importance. If he was actually traveling and telling people to not procreate, just leave the non-existent alone. Don't bring them into existence. There's no need for it. Enjoy your life with your spouse. Travel the world with your spouse. Live to make each other happy. You and your spouse live to make yourself happy. Don't create unnecessary need by breeding. Then he would be saying something important, but he's not saying shit. But I digress. Let's keep going.
Western California, talking to a whole bunch of parents and a whole bunch of kids, and I researched the heck out of all this. The stats are staggering. So for me, I'm going, why?
Because they don't want to be here. They don't like it here. We don't like it here on Earth. We don't like this shit. Oh my God, the numbers are staggering. And I'm like, why?
Would change going back.
When I look back at Ryan, I showed up this way. I'm a CEO, CEO coach, Ironman, black belt, author. If there's a problem, I fix it. My kids never saw me cry. As far as they know, I never did. I've failed at 13 businesses. I've almost been bankrupt 3 times. My wife and kids never knew. I protected them from reality.
No. You don't get to say you protected them from reality. You brought 3 children into reality, knowing how hard it is. You just admitted you failed at all these businesses. You went bankrupt. How would your wife not know that you went bankrupt? I know that's a bullshit lie out of your filthy fucking mouth. And you brought 3 other children into this life to experience the same bullshit, the same stupidity, the same redundancy. You did not protect them from shit.
I thought that's the way I should be a dad. And then what did my 14-year-old son do? He looked at me and said,
"This is how a real man fights."
that's the way a man and a father is supposed to be. So he showed up that way. Ryan was the class clown. Ryan talked all the time. Ryan came home from dinner, told great stories about how things happened, about his bully, and how he verbally trounced his bully and thought it was funny as heck. He never shared the fact that he had any problems. He had lots of them. Because he thought that that's how he's supposed to show up. And I regret that.
What would you teach fathers to basically help them talk with their kids?
First thing you do is you listen. You listen to how they feel and make sure they know that you care. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on at school? Have you ever felt sad? You ever felt mad? You ever felt anxious? And you understand that how they feel is how they feel. You can't fix how they feel. And this is what we as dads do. We fix stuff. How many times has your wife said to you, I don't want you to fix my problem, I just want you to listen to me? That's hard for dads to do because we want to protect our kids. When we go into overprotection mode, when we protect them every time.
If you really wanted to protect your kids, you would have left them alone and never brought them into existence. And that's the true tea. There's no way you can protect your child bringing them into this stupid world. There's no way. There's no way, because they eventually have to go out into the world. You can't keep them stuck under your roof. They have to go out and experience the world. So how could you ever figure that you're protecting them by bringing them here?
They fall. So they can't fall. Then what do they believe when they become 14, 15, 16, 17? They believe there's nothing wrong that's ever going to happen. We create kids that do not have any resilience in their lives. I want to do a little exercise with you. Close your eyes for a second. I want you to think back to when you were 12, 13 years of age. And I want you to put up your hands if you were ever bullied. Put up your hands if you ever felt like you weren't happy with your life. If you ever felt like you weren't as cool as the other kids, leave your hands up for a second and open your eyes.
Look at these motherfuckers. All of them raised their hands, yet all of them procreated. They knew this life was a bunch of BS. They knew that you would have these feelings of being bullied, of being not enough. And just look at all these dumbasses still procreating, even though it's not necessary at all.
All right, now put your hands down. Put up your hands if you ever thought that you would go ahead and share those deep, dark, painful moments with your kids. Yeah, I didn't, because I was like you. But I wish someone took the time to talk to me and tell me I might need to change. Had I been more vulnerable with my own kids, to share with them, like, yeah, you know what, I was bullied, and I was bullied. I didn't think I had a lot of friends. I didn't have a lot of friends. I never shared any of that with my kids.
If you could say one thing you're wrong, what would it be?
If I could say one thing to Ryan, I'd say I'm sorry. I'd say I'm sorry I didn't see it. Sorry I failed you as a dad. I'm sorry. I'm a lot more open now with my kids. And you know what? I have a lot deeper conversations with my kids now than I ever had. All right, so what do we do now? Everything's only going to change if we change. The world's only going to change if we decide as parents that we're going to make it change. And we're going to make it change if we all decide to be that person that our kids want to come talk to, that our kids feel safe with. If we tell our stories and we start to have real emotional connections with our children, that's when the world starts changing. You can make a difference with your own family. I'm making a difference with the family I have left. I would love it if you all told your story.
I'll tell my story.
I'll tell my story.
So, it's just like you created someone without their consent. You knew life was hard. You knew the person was going to die eventually. And now it fucked with your ego because your kid, your child, committed suicide, and it fucked with you. They took it upon themselves to make the decision to leave this life. And somehow that's looked at as a negative or, a bad thing. Maybe the method he used could have been bad and painful. And I feel very sorry for him if he went through any pain before he, transitioned to the other side. But he had the right to make the decision to leave this earth. Just like you felt you had the right to bring him into this world. And he didn't fucking like it. So guess what? He was brave enough to leave this shit. And he's so lucky because he never had to struggle. He never had to have the failed businesses that his father had. He never had to work a day in his fucking life. He never had to worry about bills, money, stress. He never had none of those worries. He's gone. He's at peace. and his father, his narcissistic father, is using this opportunity to get some kind of fame and notoriety. Notoriety, excuse me. And I just don't have any respect for these parents. I have no respect for them because they don't even know why they're doing this. They want the white picket fence. They want the perfect looking family. They want to be able to take family photos. You know, they want, I don't know. It's like complete bullshit. They can't just partner up with somebody and just live their own fucking lives. They have to want to give life to somebody else. And you don't know if that other person is going to like this shit. No matter how much you gaslight them, life is a gift, and you tell them life is a gift, they don't see that shit. They don't see none of the shit that you're talking about. I'm out.